Red Sails to Capri. Chapter 4. The most beautiful spot in all Capri. Michael! Michael looked up. In the doorway stood an easel. Around and in front of the easel were rolls of canvas, bundles of brushes, a palette, old paint rags, two legs attached to a pair of boots, small paint pots, a wooden box, half a head of hair, one eye, part of a nose, and a thin cheek. Michael! The voice, at least, was not concealed. It came from behind the easel, full and clear. Michael! Yes, Lord Derby. The easel and everything attached to it moved a few steps closer. Michael, may I borrow you for the day? Borrow me? The easel could laugh as well as talk. Yes, Monsieur Jacques borrowed you yesterday. I should like to borrow you today. Certainly, Lord Derby. What would you like me to do? I want to paint up in the mountains. Do you know a place that is especially beautiful? The most beautiful spot in all Capri. Good. It is not easy to get there. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter? Michael looked through the doorway. Already he could feel the easel beating against his legs, the paint pots knocking against his side, the weight of the wooden box upon his head. The easel started to turn around and then swayed dangerously. Michael sprang forward. May I help you, Lord Derby? Shall I carry your things? The half head of hair, the eye, the part of the nose, thin cheek moved from side to side. No, no, thank you, Michael. I always carry my things myself. Foolish of me, I know. You'll have to excuse a fussy old artist. Excuse? Michael ran off to the kitchen to hide his face. The beating legs of the easel, the knocking paint pots, the heavy box had been lifted from him. He felt as free as the wind. But not for long. Yes, yes, Senora Pagano nodded her head. Certainly you may go, Michael. We must do everything we can to keep the guests happy. You will be gone all day? That will mean lunch. She began hastily to put things into a basket. Michael groaned. Oh, his mother lived with the constant fear that everyone around her was going to starve to death, and her whole life was spent in trying to avoid that great tragedy. Mama, Michael could not keep from protesting. Mama, we will be gone only a day. To have a little extra food along is always a good idea. You can never tell what might happen. What could possibly happen? You can never tell. Do you think we're going to get lost? You lost on Capri? Signora Pagano smiled. Bitten perhaps by a snake? There are no snakes on Capri. Break an ankle? The good saints help us. Fall down a cavern. Signora Pagano could stand no more. All right, here. She covered the basket with a clean cloth and handed it to Michael. Go, and careful now. Careful. Careful. She should have seen the basket half an hour later. First, it swayed dangerously on top of Michael's head. Next, it hung by a thin cord from his shoulder. It was thrown half tipping across small streams. Halfway up a hill, Michael looked back at Lord Derby, who was walking behind him. He looked like a paint shop on two legs. Are you all right, senor? I suppose so. Lord Derby stopped to catch his breath. How much farther, Michael? One more hill after the steps. The steps? Michael pointed straight ahead. Look. By Jove! Lord Derby stared. I've seen steps in my life, Michael, but never any to compare with those. One cannot see the top. While you climb them, you are sure there is no top. Lord Derby looked at Michael questioningly. You do not sound too fond of them. I hate them. Hate them? Yes. Why? I think they're ugly. They break your back with their steepness, blister your feet with their hardness, hurt your eyes with their glaring. They are like a great scar on the side of the mountain. Where do they go? To Capri. Are we going to Capri? No, not if you want to see what I think is the most beautiful spot on the island. All right, Michael. Someday I shall ask you to take me to Capri, but not today. Let's see that favorite spot of yours. Michael found an opening between two tall bushes. This way, senor. Here is our path. Our path? Lord Derby laughed. It might be your path, Michael, but it isn't mine. I can't see a path anyplace. What? Michael looked down at his feet. You can't see it? It is plain as day to me, beneath the leaves and underbrush. Paths that are beneath leaves and underbrush are not as plain as day. Michael laughed. Never mind, just follow me. It is not far, only a few steps. We are almost to the top. One moment they were surrounded by trees and bushes. The next moment the whole world seemed made of nothing but sea and sky and high stone cliffs. Ah, Lord Derby looked around him. I understand now, Michael. Understand? Yes, this place is not real. That is why one must follow an invisible path to reach it. Nothing as beautiful as this could be real. Some good genie. How long do I have before the genie takes us away? How long before it vanishes? Michael rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Well, let me think. His eyes twinkled. It will not vanish, I promise you, Lord Derby, until the sun disappears behind that farthest cliff. Good, good. Then I have all day. In a few minutes, the easel was set up and the canvas stretched across it. The paint pots were opened. Michael. Yes, Lord Derby? What are you going to do? You mean now? Yes. Why, nothing, Lord Derby. Just wait here until you are ready to go home. Then, will you talk to me? I like to talk while I paint. Michael sat down beneath a tree and crossed his legs. He squirmed around for a few minutes. Then he smiled uncertainly. All morning he had talked to Lord Derby. Now, suddenly, when he was asked to talk, he could think of nothing to say. Lord Derby put a bit of paint on a brush and dabbed at the canvas. Tell me about yourself, Michael. What do you do? Who are your friends? Do you get lonely up there at the inn? Lonely? Never. There is so much to do. Pietro and I. Who is Pietro? Pietro is the donkey boy. He is my best friend. Then quickly Michael added, Angelo is my best friend too. Lord Derby looked up. You are fortunate, Michael. Most people are lucky to have one best friend. You have two. Michael nodded. He was well aware of his good fortune. To have Pietro and Angelo both was more than anyone deserved. Lord Derby looked out across the water. He looked so long and so hard, Michael thought he had forgotten about everything, including his painting. Suddenly he began to paint again, furiously, with short, quick strokes. Angelo, Lord Derby repeated the name slowly. Isn't that the fellow we met on the beach? Tell me about him, Michael. Michael laughed. How could one tell about Angelo? Well, he began, he is a fisherman. A fisherman, yes? He's about 40 years old. 40 years? All right, go on, tell me more. He lives by himself in a little cottage close to the sea. All of this tells me nothing about your friend, Angelo. I know, I know. All at once the words were there. Michael could not say them fast enough. Angelo is wonderful. Next to my father, he is the most wonderful man in all the world. He's always laughing and singing. When you are with him, you feel good inside. Everything is important to Angelo. Everything. The color of a fish, the way he ties a knot, the way he mends a net, the way he wears his hat on his head. Everything is important. And nothing is important. Nothing. He laughs at everything. And his stories, he tells wonderful stories. My mother doesn't like him. Lord Derby didn't take his eyes off his painting. Why doesn't your mother like him? She says he doesn't tell the truth, that he doesn't know how, that he twists and turns everything. What do you think, Signor? Do you think it is wrong of Angelo? Wrong of Angelo? Michael hesitated and then went on. Do you think it is wrong of Angelo not to always tell the truth? Lord Derby sat with one brush between his teeth, 6 clutched in his left hand and 1 in his right. Finally, he took the brush out of his mouth and put it behind his ear. I don't know, Michael. I'm afraid I can't answer that question. But let me tell you this. I think that almost everyone is looking for something, something special, something that means more to him than anything else in the world. Do you remember the first night we came to the inn? Monsieur Jacques said that I had come to Capri in search of beauty, that he had come in search of adventure. Michael nodded. But it is not just in Capri, Michael, that we do our searching. I look for a bit of beauty no matter where I go. Monsieur Jacques is forever searching for adventure. And we find it, Michael. I think, some way or other, most people find the things they look for. Perhaps your friend Angelo is searching for gaiety, Michael. He must find something to laugh about, something to make others laugh. When he doesn't find it, he makes it up. That's his way of finding what's important to him. That doesn't seem too wrong to me. Michael nodded. He wasn't quite sure he understood what Lord Derby was saying, but he was right to say that Angelo searched for gaiety, and that he found it. He wondered what he would search for when he was grown. Lord Derby? Yes, Michael. Does everyone search for something? Almost everyone, I think. Even Herr Nordstrom? Lord Derby laughed. I'm not sure about him, Michael. I think perhaps he is one person who hasn't found anything to look for. That is why he keeps himself buried in his books. Lord Derby threw a large cloth over his canvas. What do you say, Michael? Let's have lunch, take a small nap. A nap? I never sleep in the daytime. When Michael awoke, Lord Derby was painting again. Well, he looked at Michael and smiled. For a boy that never sleeps in the daytime, you are a good actor. Michael grinned sheepishly. I was just watching the clouds, and then the next thing I knew, it was now. You woke just in time. I'd finished my picture. Do you want to see it? Michael started toward the picture, but Lord Derby stopped him. Wait a minute. If you like the picture, I'll give it to you. But you must tell the truth. Michael looked around him. How wonderful it would be to take this place home with him. The sea, the sky, the cliffs. He walked to the front of the easel and looked at the canvas, then looked again. There was no sea, no sky, no cliffs. The steps, he gasped. You painted a picture of the steps to Anna Capri. Lord Derby nodded, well pleased with himself. Do you like my picture? Michael nodded slowly. Yes, only... Only what? The steps are so beautiful. Have I made them too beautiful? More beautiful than they really are? I never thought they were beautiful at all. I thought they were ugly. Perhaps you've never looked at them before. Looked at them? I've looked at them 1,000 times. Sometimes we never look at the things we see most often. Michael continued to stare at the picture. Those colors in the rocks, are they really there? I saw them there. And the steps, do they loop and turn like that? Exactly like that. You've made them look like a stairway to heaven. Have I? Good. It should be easy to climb a stairway to heaven, eh, Michael? But as they walked toward home, Michael was still puzzled. Lord Derby. Yes, Michael? Why did you go to the most beautiful spot in Capri and then paint something else? Your spot was too beautiful, Michael. Too beautiful? Yes, I don't believe there is enough paint in the world to paint a picture of that spot as it should be painted. At least, I'm not good enough to do it. But that doesn't worry me. You don't need an artist to show you the beauty of a place like that. But your ugly steps, if I have made you see a bit of beauty in them, Michael, I am very happy. They were almost home when they saw Herr Nordstrom walking along the path. Well, Lord Derby greeted him enthusiastically. It's good to see you out of doors. I was beginning to think you'd never leave your books long enough to see anything of this beautiful island. Herr Nordstrom looked a little embarrassed. I know you think I'm nothing but a bookworm, but there is so much to learn. Philosophy is a big subject. Philosophy. Michael repeated the word to himself. He had never heard it before. He listened while Lord Derby and Herr Nordstrom talked. Philosophy. The word was repeated again and again. When they got close to the inn, Lord Derby sat down on a large boulder. I'm going to rest here a while, he said, and watch the sunset. You two go on. I'll see you at dinner. Philosophy. Michael said the word carefully to himself. He was afraid he would forget how to pronounce it. Herr Nordstrom. Yes, Michael? May I ask you a question? Certainly. What does philosophy mean? Herr Nordstrom stopped walking and stood very still in the middle of the path. It means... He laughed as if he were embarrassed. Let's see. How can I explain it to you? Philosophy is a search for the truth through knowledge. Yes, that's it. All philosophers search for the truth. Do you understand, Michael? Michael shook his head. No, Herr Nordstrom, I don't understand, but I'm pleased about one thing. What's that, Michael? Lord Derby said you hadn't found anything to look for, but you have, haven't you? You're searching for something, just like everyone else. Herr Nordstrom smiled. That's right, Michael, but I've chosen a difficult thing to search for. So difficult, I cannot even explain it to you. That's all right, Herr Nordstrom. Don't worry about it. Perhaps someday when I'm older. Perhaps, Michael. And we'll go on with Chapter 5 in the next video. I hope you're enjoying the story. I sure am. Please reach down, click like, and subscribe. I love you guys. And as Tigger says, ta-ta for now.